Today I'll be reviewing Hayaati by Lattafa. It has a very simplistic design from the coloristic point of view. And then under here you obviously have the usual Lattafa sticker, and then it's a dense bottle. It's very heavy. And you have this plasticky cover. The only downside of this whole fragrance is in the lid. That's in the direction of the presentation of this fragrance. The lid here feels very light, feels cheap. There is not much weight. It's hard to really decipher the connection between a very dense and deep bottling like this and making a very cheap cover. I usually don't know where that's supposed to lead the branding of this very perfume company to. It's just worthy of mention for the presentation. The bottling is heavy. There's weight to this. It doesn't feel cheap in any way. The atomizer here is very, very good. It's actually very good. Nothing much going on. There's just Lattafa written here below, and then there's Hayaati here, and then there's this Arabic inscription here, which I barely know what that means. That's just that on that. Nothing else. It's a very simplistic and minimalistic design. There's not much drama going on or going around with this very fragrance. It's the kind of bottling you would admire, you like to see. Very beautiful. It's simple. It's minimalistic. It's not busy. It's not noisy. It's not lousy. Very simple and gorgeous. I love it. Besides the whole lid plasticky situation, I would confidently rate this an 8 over 10. 8 over 10 easily. It's beautiful. For the scent profile here, you have an apple and a bergamot situation in the opening. That's for the top note. It's not difficult to figure out. It's literally just going to be in your nose because it's apple forward. It's that kind of fragrance. An apple situation here, and then a bergamot company in the opening of this fragrance. While in the middle notes, you definitely find cinnamon and woody notes. But the thing is, the woods here, or the woody notes in this fragrance, is not the conventional kind of woody notes you typically get. I think the notes are very suppressed, so much that you hardly can tell that there are woody elements or moments in this very fragrance. The cinnamon too here is also very controlled, but then again, you get to pick some nuances of that cinnamon. While in the base note of this fragrance, you find musk and vanilla. I usually have a tough time with musk. I really don't know what it is with my nasal facilities, but the vanilla here is very audible. So you have that apple and bergamot situation in the opening, and it progresses into cinnamon and some woodsy elements, some woodsy notes. Afterwards, everything compresses down to the vanilla and the musk, which I struggle to pick. But for me, I feel like the base notes of this fragrance is very sublingual. It has a very strong undertone. It's really not forward. It looks like all the notes in this very fragrance come together strongly to make the apple here a star. So apple here is the big player. Apple here is what you pick all the way. Ultra Male by Jean Paul Gaultier. If you've had a sniff of that fragrance, it was pretty much apple forward. That whole bergamot and apple situation was very prominent there. You have that similarities here. Same thing with Najdia, still by Lattafa. And Hawaz. I feel like Hawaz is a little bit more sweeter than Hayaati. And the scent profile here is pretty much okay. I don't have a problem with it. I feel like it's an amazing scent profile for a certain age bracket from 26 above. I'm not sure I want to have any elderly man or any man in the adolescence pretty much trying to smell like Hayaati in my corner. Don't get it twisted. There are people who it's a do or die for this scent profile and they like it this way. Some people may tilt towards pineapple, some people tilt towards strawberries, some people tilt towards vanilla, some people tilt towards Burberry, some people tilt towards cherries. It's all manner of different fruits people are trying to smell like, and I really don't get it. I'm not sure I want to spend a whole lot of money to smell like fruits. That aside, this is apple forward. This is strong apple situation. It's an apple vibe, like that one apple a day keeps you away from the doctor. This is that apple. It's a strong apple, and that makes it a linear scent. It makes it too linear for me. There's not much dynamics or interaction in the DNA of this fragrance. For this scent profile and DNA, there are different alternatives, or put it, different brands that do so well with that whole molecular composition. But I feel like Hayaati struggled with this one. While it smells appealing and amazing, pretty much for the younger generation, from 25 and below, this definitely shouldn't go for someone above 25. Below 25, amazing. You can use it, you can rock it, you can play with it. I find it that the cinnamon, the woodsy note in the middle layer, the base note, that is the vanilla and the musk, which I'm struggling to pick. I feel like everybody just tries to rally around to campaign for the apple in this fragrance. After the apple is the bergamot you get to pick. But after that whole bergamot and apple, I promise you, every other thing is behind. It's like everybody's just trying to vote for the apple in this fragrance. So I feel like it's a very strong apple ceremony here. And for me, I find that to be very linear. If you are big on apple smell, this is a 10 over 10. Because the apple here is very sharp. If you lean towards very strong apple vibe, by all means, this is your call. Even if you lean towards apple notes, I'm not sure you still want to vibe with this apple if you are above 25. And the reason is because the apple here is not so tamed. This apple here was just a little bit too forward, too noisy per se, and quite lousy. That lousiness leaves you with that alcoholic vibe. It makes you feel like there's an alcoholic situation in this fragrance. There is not much alcoholic situation here. I just feel like the apple there is just too lousy that it gets to become cloying. And when that happens, it gives off the impression that there is a strong alcoholic rush on this. You're definitely going to have that situation with this fragrance. The scent profile here is pretty much linear. Nothing going on. Apple, apple, apple. It's an apple, straight apple situation. This is a very strong apple. Like, this is a very strong apple. The apple here is just on steroids. So that's about the scent profile of this fragrance. My ratings for this, if the people in use for this very fragrance fall below the age of 25, I will rate this 10 over 10 for the scent profile. But if the people who intend using this fragrance falls above the age of 25, I'm not sure it's going to be a good rating. So just stick with below 25. Let's stay with below 25. Using this, it's amazing. That's Jean Paul Gaultier vibe. You know, if you want to smell sugary and spicy and, you know, that kind of fruity, this is it for you. It's for that younger generation. You have your juvenile time with this fragrance. It's going to put you in those elements, in those youthful elements, and you are more likely to be very energetic. It's going to just lift your, you know, it's an energy booster. You'll be happy, you'll be lifted. It's that kind of fragrance. So based on that, strongly recommended for people below 25, and for that reason, I rate it 10 over 10. People below 25, 10 over 10. Above 25, this is not a 10. So stick with that. Let's stick with that age, you know, bracket. It's an amazing scent profile. It's an amazing scent situation for 25 and below. Amazing. Highly recommended. Not recommended for people above 25 in the scent direction of this very fragrance. So that's my position. So I don't feel like the projection on this one is very outstanding. The projection here feels quite basic to me. Maybe 20 to 30 minutes in projection. It's not the kind of fragrance that is big on projection. So first 20 minutes spray on this is going to be all over the room, all over the space, all over the place. But that whole thing is a very short cycle of between 20 to 30 minutes. After that, it's gone. I didn't find it to project very well. The projection here didn't inspire me in any way. I didn't find it interesting. It was just there, or maybe a little above average. So if I had to rate the projection of this very fragrance, I would simply say 6 over 10. Just a tad above average. What I don't understand is if the whole simplistic and minimalistic design in this whole fragrance had to cut across the whole situation of this fragrance, because it looks like everything is toned down, everything is muted, everything is minimalistic, and I really don't know if that's a good thing. The projection on this one is pretty low, between 20 to 30 minutes max. Trust me, if you don't have good exposure to a good amount of fragrances, you would think that this does so well in projection. It's just average, it's basic. I've seen better projecting scents with this price range, so this didn't impress me in any way in the projection. The projection here, I would simply just put it 6/10. That's how far I can go on this. This does fairly just okay in the longevity. The longevity here is max 7 hours, and you have to swim in this fragrance, which you hardly can do that number of sprays to get that 7 hours. It is 6 hours fragrance. The best this fragrance can do for you, the best this fragrance can reward you with is 6 hours. Whether or not you have reasonable above average sprays, this doesn't care. Whatever you spray, it's just going to give you 6 hours on the average. 6, 4 to 5 in the average, 6 on the high side. This is the kind of fragrance you always need to carry around. You never can tell when you need to top up. I understand that some ladies get to house perfumes in their walk around bags, and that works for them for this kind of fragrance. In 3 hours, you can get to apply them in aliquots. But if you're a man and you lack the facilities to house this in your day-to-day runnings, I'm not sure you want to frolic with this. So this for me is straight up 6 hours in longevity. Just a little above average. 6 hours. That's how far I can go on this. 6 hours. I've used it a lot of times. This is 6 hours. The scent profile here is nice. It's good. It's something. But like I said, for below 25, the days I want to feel extra young, this is what I play with. But then again, it doesn't last. So you get to time yourself. If you know you don't get to exceed 6 hours from wherever you're going to. Initially, I had the impression that this was a very long staying fragrance, and that was because I did used to layer it. I didn't know it was the other perfume I was layering with this very fragrance that gave it that longevity, that made me feel that it's a long staying fragrance. It's actually not a long staying fragrance. It's just, it's an average or a little above average, 6 to 6 hours. It's a 6 situation here. 6. I get sometimes 5. Sometimes I get a 5 hours, 30 minutes, 6 hours. After 6 hours, what you get is an intimate scent on this. So it's pretty basic. It's pretty average in longevity. That's how far I can go on this. My ratings here will remain 6/10 because definitely it stays well below 7 hours. So this is a 6 hours scent staying powerhouse, or maybe not powerhouse, that's a big word. This is a 6-6-6 situation. The longevity, the projection, the sillage is 6. Someone pretty much has to invade your personal space to get whiffs of this in the next 3 to 4 hours after spraying this. You only have to share this with people in the first maybe 2 hours. That's when the sillage here gets to find expression. After 2 hours of this fragrance, the sillage is pretty much very docile. So someone really has to invade your private organs to pick whiffs of this fragrance. It doesn't do so well with sillage. The sillage is not anything outstanding. It's just basic or a little above average. Trust me, I've seen worse, but this is definitely not recommendable and it's worthy of mention. The sillage here is not exceptional. The sillage here is just basic. I would assume, let's hope that it's not macerated enough, because it's barely 2 months in my shelf. So I would give it some benefit of doubt. Take this review with a pinch of salt. Let's hope that the life after maceration of this fragrance is going to do better. I'll have an opinion shift. But for now, this is what this is giving me, and I'm giving you my honest opinion on this. I'm not trying to play nice here. This is just what I'm experiencing. This is what I'm getting with this. For now, hopefully, when it gets to macerate, it may be a different tale. But for now, whilst using this is what I'm getting. The sillage here is 6/10 easily. This is a 6-6-6 situation. If you're looking for a perfume you get to wear without processing, without trying to, be mental about it, this is going to do it for you. This perfume is so easy in use. You don't get to stress your cerebral cortex. You don't stress any aspects of your brain or your nasal facilities. I think Nashdia is a little bit more expensive than this, at least in Nigeria. And then Hawa's is extremely, maybe times 3 or 2 of this price. If we have to take a price view direction, we're definitely going to give it thumbs up. It's definitely going to be a plus. Who should wear this? Young people. I made that clear already. People below 25, rock this. You're going to enjoy it. You are definitely going to like how this is going to hold up. You find it amazing. You get a lot of compliments. I think this is about 25,000 in price position, in price action, in price point. That's a good price position for a fragrance with this integrity and texture. It's the kind of fragrance that if you don't expect it to do more than what it's intended to do or is supposed to do, then you definitely not be disappointed with it. You only have a problem with this fragrance when you expect it to be something that it wasn't even built to be. I'm looking forward to giving my thoughts or throwing my thoughts around a couple more fragrances, especially in the Lattafa lineup in the future. So stay on the channel and we'll get to see you again.